Let's talk about The Eternal Daughter. We mentioned it before, the new film from Joanna Hogg. This one is about an artist and her elderly mother confronting the past when they return to a former family home that's become a hotel. Some people are calling this one the Souvenir Part 3 because it is
That's fair.
another kind of autobiographical look at her life. And I think Tilda Swinton played like a very similarly adorned mother character in those films. Swinton is doing double work here, playing both the artist and her daughter in the film, which adds a really interesting layer to the movie. Another kind of like metatextual thing, especially considering how Honor Swinton was playing the Joanna Hogg role in the two Souvenir films. Art, this has been described as kind of a ghost story. Do you think you see it that way?
Yes, I think after the fact for sure.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you with the Souvenir Part 3 elements because in the Souvenir, if it's her having to make the movie, and that's who uh, Swinton's daughter plays,
Hmm.
having Swinton play technically Joanna Hogg in this movie, and Joanna Hogg almost venting about her relationship with her mother and this idea of not being able to have children, but because she's a filmmaker, to a degree, those are her children. I thought was a really good look at, as you put it, a ghost story that's looking back at the memories of this one place where they would always meet up. This
Hmm.
place that doesn't just signify, it's like a hotel, right? It doesn't just signify uh, where she goes to write, it's also where she grew up as a child and her mother grew up as well. So
Hmm.
it's like the cycles of motherhood, but then how that's compared to her work. And again, that is something that is covered in the Souvenir Part 1. Here, I like it so much more. It's almost a
Yeah.
little puzzle piece-ish, because there's one line that I've always loved, especially in like folk horror, and it's this idea that every room in England has always had someone die in it. Like that's how long these places have been, that you'll always
Hmm.
see a story behind a room, and this is definitely that type of movie. We caught onto it pretty quick, I guess, is an approach that I would say. And the later you catch on to it, I don't think that it affects the movie because it's not even what you think it's going to be. It's still an inverse of that. And I think it's a very special film. I like it a little bit more than you do. I
Yeah.
don't love it, um, but I really like what she was going for. And maybe on a rewatch, because what we thought we had pinned down ended up being like a parallel version to that, and it's really good. It's really good in the sense of being a love letter to her mom.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a really striking quality to it, and definitely like something very haunting to it. I think, especially once you sort of realize some things about the film, it makes certain elements sort of fall into place a little more, and it's I don't know, um, the way that this film reveals information to you. I was really struck by. I really enjoyed that. I do think it's very sparse. It feels almost more like short film. It's only 90 minutes, but it feels like it could have even been shorter. But yeah, I mean, I do really. There's a lot of moments I really like that I find are really effective. I don't know if it's just the environment is so like cold and
It
airy.
is,
Like
yeah. It's
I got
just
chills
dumb in a
just
hotel.
watching them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it just I think you were telling me, or maybe it was Caitlin telling me that the way that they filmed it was they would kind of just film whichever half of the scene Tilda felt like doing first, and they weren't always like keeping perfect tracks, so sometimes it wouldn't line up perfectly, which
Uh-huh.
adds to the sort of mysterious quality going on in the film.
That's
It's
fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fascinating, and I think a very effective movie. I think ultimately I go Souvenir Part 2, The Eternal Daughter, and then Souvenir Part 1.
Okay.
But yeah, very interesting film.
I'll let you know once I catch that other one. But hey, if you like Tilda, it's Tilda playing Tilda and Tilda's mom. So that's always good.
Yeah, absolutely.